introduce himself to the club, to show the basic structure of a public speech. It is time for 6 minutes. Please welcome Daniel G. Taylor.
The title of my speech tonight is How to Win Any Argument. When it comes to personal relationships, however, this is not something you want to do, because in your personal relationships, if you win an argument, you've lost. Because in that setting, you have a choice to either do the right thing or to be right. If you're attached to being right, you're going to find you're not going to have a lot of friends. However, where this has stemmed from is that over the past couple of years, I've had the opportunity to work on a number of court cases, both civil and criminal. And how I got into this is actually because my work, I'm a direct response copywriter. So my whole job is about persuading people to my point of view and getting people to take action. So a couple of years ago, I studied the book originally because I was just studying the persuasion techniques to be able to take the same techniques and bring them into my copywriting that this lawyer, Jerry Spence, had used in his court cases. To understand the power of what Jerry did in a career that was more than 40 years long, he was a trial lawyer, which means that every one of his cases was before a jury. He never lost a case, ever, in 40 years. Which is we have Fergus here as our resident law intern. I'm sure he'll tell you that that's a fairly impressive amount. But so as a result of being involved in these different cases and things, I've got a bit of a strategy up, and from doing those things, and I've gotten some results which I shouldn't have been able to get. But knowing how to win arguments is really helpful in any sort of setting, any sort of formal setting. So obviously debating, if you're a student, like James here is a teacher, if you're a student, being able to present your arguments and present the material in a way that is compelling and persuades people is going to help you win arguments in a way, in a format where it's in a context where it's appropriate to be winning arguments. So I'm going to introduce three core concepts of Jerry Spence's strategy. Obviously, I've got a 4 to 6 minute speech, and this is not the entire thing. But the first thing is what Trump did in his election campaign and continues to do, which is he played the psychological game. He realizes Donald Trump spends 4 hours a day in personal development. He sleeps for 4 hours and he spends 4 hours a day studying personal development. Trump understands what science shows is that every single decision that we make for emotional reasons. It's only after we've already made the decision that we then use logic and rationalizations, which my mentor, the late Dr. Stephen R. Covey, who wrote the book The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, he said that rationalizations are rational whys that we tell ourselves. They're things we make up that sound believable so that we can then justify our decision. A quick example, say you're in a relationship and you've bought something that you wanted. Obviously you've bought it for emotional reasons because all our decisions are emotional. But you have to justify to your partner that the money you've spent on this. So in this case, you then come up with rationalizations as like, this jacket's going to allow me to be able to go to, you rationalize. I'm not going to go and make up the kinds of rationalizations. But the foundation of the psychological game that you play, the foundation of the psychological game that you play is developing a theme. Stories are compelling. Having a theme, having a way to get your message across that is in a story that has an overall narrative and an arc and a structure allows you to be more convincing than you'd be able to be if you didn't have that structure, if you weren't aware of what's the overall theme, what's the overall story I'm trying to tell, what's the story that I want to be able to get across. The third part of this, and this is the crucial part, and I consider this the most significant thing, is that you must have what's called a preponderance of proof. This is Jerry Spencer's term. You want to bring together so much evidence that the cumulative effect of this evidence is undeniable, because that's what wins people, in a legal sense, wins people to your case. It's what wins arguments in a non-legal context. So just those three things I've given you today are enough to be able to help you be more effective at persuading people and being able to create an argument and being able to support your argument. But don't try it at home. Otherwise you're going to start messing up your relationships. You might win the arguments, but you're going to find that very quickly you don't have any friends to win arguments with.
Thanks for that, Daniel. We have a few things there we can use in our personal lives to just think about